Hi, this is RL Griffin, and all my friends call me Reagan. Donna from the Romance Cover sent me some questions to answer, and to be honest, some of the questions were a bit daunting, so I asked for a little help from my friends. Okay, the first set of questions that Donna from the Romance Cover sent me are my favorites. So I'm just going to go through these super quick. Favorite color is green. Favorite food is cheese. I die without cheese. Favorite drink is red wine. Favorite film, that's impossible. Off the top of my head, The Fault in Our Stars was fantastic. Fight Club, The Help. So many good. I can't even say. I would have to list 20 films. Favorite song, that's impossible as well. I'll say my favorite singer right now is Matthew Mayfield. Google him up if you don't know who he is. He's fantastic. Favorite saying, if you've read any of my books, you know my favorite word, but my favorite saying is probably oh my shit. Tell us something that no one else knows about your sister Reagan.
Well, Reagan, growing up, was an avid fan of the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Google that up and see what you find. It'll be hilarious.
Donna asked some really tough questions of me of Razorblade Kisses. She knows that this is a very difficult book for me to release, to promote, to everything, and I'm not really sure why. One of the questions she asked me is, have early readers, their feedback kind of helped me through my pre-release jitters, and that's a resounding no. My jitters remain intact.
Hey guys, it's Felicia Lynn. I've recently had the honor of reading Razorblade Kisses by RL Griffin, and it's amazing. You're going to love it. I was asked what to expect if you're completely in the dark about the book, and I expect you to fortunately stay in the dark. It's not what you're going to expect, and RL Griffin doesn't give much away in the way of synopsis. But when you read the prologue, you kind of know where you're going, and I love that. But you don't know what to expect, even if you think you know from the very beginning. And so, happy times in the dark, or sad times, because you'll probably need tissues. But then you'll laugh, and it'll all be better. So, enjoy.
I am going to rely on some friends of mine who've read Razorblade Kisses to answer most of the questions about Razorblade Kisses. But I will answer two of them. One, well, maybe a couple. This book was really tough to write for me. It was the hardest book that I've ever written. And it's a pretty emotional book to read. When I read it for the last time for editing, almost cried myself several times. So that was very difficult for me because I'm generally not an emotional person.
Razorblade Kisses was unexpected. It was a love story for people who hate love stories. And it was also a story for people that love love stories. It was unexpected. I've said that before. It made me cringe. It made my heart pound. It made me nervous. It made me happy. It made me smile. It made me laugh at times. And it made me hopeful. And if you're about halfway through and you think you know what's going to happen with the story, you'd be wrong. It's, in my opinion, this is RL Griffin's best work to date. I am so glad that she decided to publish this book.
Okay, the second set of questions are some general questions for me. What do I use for inspiration? Everything. Anything and everything could end up making me dream up an entire story in my head. Who and what keeps you company when you are writing? Red wine and good music. The next question is, how do you manage to be a author, lawyer, mom? What was there? One other thing? Author, wife. Yes, I'm a wife as well. How do I manage all that? Poorly. I do it poorly all the time. If I had any one piece of advice to give aspiring authors, I just listened to Stephen King on writing, and I think study your craft. And by that, I mean read. Read all the time. Read really good books, read classics, read trash, read shit, read everything. Read it all, and then write. And don't let anybody tell you what kind of stories to write. Write what you want to, write from the heart. Don't write on trend, write what you want to write. And that's my piece of advice. If you could be any character in one of your sister's books, who would you be and why?
Well, I'd have to say I'd probably be Millie in the By a Thread series because she's a lot of fun, she likes to give advice, and she's hysterical. I also would kind of like to be Laura in the upcoming book Sunshine and Whiskey because she has a really cool job, and you guys are going to have to wait to find out what that is.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever given your mom?
She should have ducked before she walked and she hit her head on the TV.
That's a good piece of advice. Okay. What do you think your mom's greatest achievement is?
Me.
Okay, what have I loved the most about becoming an author? I have met some really amazing people along the way, whether they're other authors or bloggers or readers, just some really amazing people. So I think that's my favorite thing. This is my mom, dad, and sister. They usually read my books, and I like to call it the bone stage, where it's really just a story. There's no details. There's no meat to it. There's no description. It's just, this is what I'm kind of looking at. Should I even work on it anymore, really, when I send it, when they read it? My sister told me to cut a scene out of By a Thread, which I think was one of the best pieces of advice I've received from my family. My mom talked me into publishing Razorblade Kisses, which I'm still not sure I don't know if that's the best or not. And then my dad was the first person to read Razorblade Kisses, and he really said, yeah, I think you got something here. You should keep working on it. So they all give me something different. When I think about what I want readers to take away from this book, it's really interesting because there's a lot of different things that I want them to take away. One is that the human spirit can survive. You may feel like things are at a point that you can't go on, but everybody needs to find whatever they need to do to get by, to survive, and don't look back. Keep going. If you feel like you lose hope, try to find somebody who'll help you through it. And I think that's it. Thanks for having me, the romance cover. Love you, ladies.